Continuing our series on the commemorative Masters of the Universe, today we have Tri-Klops, who's evil and sees everything. Now, the thing to note about this is that it comes in the outer package. I haven't shown this yet because the other two that I had didn't come with it. But they came in this kind of outer casing shell. There's a lot of kind of gloss foil work on these to make them look fancy, I guess. And one thing I forgot to notice, that these were a limited edition, 10,000 for each figure, so doesn't really mean a whole lot in terms of value. There's an extremely glossy replica of the card back on the outside. It's so glossy it's kind of hard to see it, but we'll see the printed one on the back of the card. So here's Tri-Klops himself out of the package. Interestingly, he was one of the first characters designed for Masters of the Universe, and he was intended to be one of the heroes and ended up in the villains. But that's the thing about Masters of the Universe, is like the villains or the evil warriors are a lot cooler figures, I think, in general. Trapjaw and Tri-Klops are two of my favorites in the whole line. And here it's, listing Zodak as an evil warrior, which he really isn't. He's more of a neutral guy. Here's the description of Tri-Klops is 3 eyes. He's got a daytime eye, a nighttime eye, and he sees around corners. And the top of the card has that fantastic early He-Man artwork. Tri-Klops uses his 3 different eyes to spy for Skeletor, and he's creeping on He-Man and Battle Cat, who are prowling on a mountainside in Eternia. So let's pop Tri-Klops out of his box. And here he is. He's got an extremely loose eye ring, I guess you'd call it. The original Tri-Klops was packed with a glow-in-the-dark ring, I believe, which they didn't bother with the reissue, which kind of stinks. I always thought he was one of the cooler looking dudes. And he comes with a long sword here. It's kind of a butter knife look to the tip of it. But the best part about Tri-Klops is that he actually has somewhere to put his weapon when he's not using it. And here I have an original 1983 Tri-Klops, who is much, much shinier than the reissue. There's some differences in the molding of his sword, like there's some probably kind of registration points or something here. The colors are pretty close on this, and once again I believe the face is a little bit bigger. The eyes seem like they're all pretty faithfully reproduced. It looks like the oranges are the only part that have major differences in color. The skin tone's maybe a little bit lighter on the newer one, but kind of blinded by the old one's body oil he's got going on, so it's hard to tell. I'd say he's much closer than He-Man and Duncan, and just looking like the original figure. I'm glad they did him justice, since he's such a great figure. And he came packed with the Terror of Tri-Klops, which is all about him battling He-Man on the cover while Skeletor and Beastman egg him on in some kind of portal. So I think I'll just kind of paraphrase this one instead of reading it all, since I'm sure that can get kind of dull. This one's more in the usual comic format, and Skeletor's complaining because every time he tries to capture Castle Grayskull, He-Man foils him, and despite how powerful he is, he always loses. Beastman asks him if he's ever heard of Tri-Klops. Skeletor reminds Beastman that Beastman is a fool. Oh, I see, they conjured up an image of Tri-Klops as Tri-Klops is beating up these blue dudes. Skeletor agrees he's magnificent and plucks him from wherever he's doing with some magic hand business here. Welcome to my house. Tri-Klops says he better send him back or he'll kill him. Beastman attacks, which I'm sure is not going to go so well for Beastman, as, Tri-Klops thrashes him. I have panoramic vision, you subhuman creature. Dang, it's a straight up racist. So he continues to choke him until Skeletor disciplines him with a blast from his sword. He threatens to kill Skeletor for that, but he instead convinces him that he's going to hire Tri-Klops to destroy He-Man. And Tri-Klops agrees that would be a great test of his strength. So in the meantime, He-Man is being decadent, lounging here with Teela and Ram Man in some kind of island paradise here. He-Man's musing about how peace isn't so bad. Skeletor decides he's going to divide and conquer, and uses a spell to kind of lure everybody away, and Battle Cat is irresistibly drawn to a cave, goes in the cave, and Tri-Klops beats him down. Crump. So that's a good way to establish that the villain is a major threat if he can just, you know, lay out a magically enchanted tiger with one punch. So stupid Ram Man was distracted by something shiny, wanders off, completely misses his one attack that he can do, and he's knocked out cold by Tri-Klops. And I guess he's decided he can take He-Man and Teela at the same time, so he just straight up jumps out. Teela rushes him, and Tri-Klops backhands her. He-Man promises he's going to pay for that. They start battling immediately. He-Man's concerned that he's killed his cat and Battle Ram. Good thing he had his shield, because it looks like Tri-Klops is actually giving him a run for his money. He uses one of his eyes to blind He-Man, and he's just got him pinned to the ground, and he's just repeatedly banging on his shield. He-Man's vision returns, and there's a pretty great line from He-Man here. "Where were your boasts now, braggart? Where are your tricks and cunning? What good are they now?" As he just completely rocks him. "I can't give in. I didn't ask you to." He-Man can be pretty vicious in the mini comics when he wants to be. So that's the end of Tri-Klops. His far vision sees that Skeletor's gonna straight up try to kill all of them. He-Man blocks it with his shield, but in the distraction, Tri-Klops ran off, and Skeletor is upset that he's lost once again. So there we have Commemorative Tri-Klops alongside the original. Thought it would be good to do one of the villains in the Commemorative line, and they definitely did him more justice than the other ones we've looked at, so that's good. There is still some of the detail loss and the kind of difference in paint color and quality, but it's definitely lessened from the other ones we've looked at. I do have one more for this series. Next we'll look at Teela, and once again, as always, thank you very much for watching.